Okay, so hopefully this will even really work on this phone. There's this channel that I found out about, which you can see at the top because she shared the post. And basically, I remember on one of the first videos I seen by her, she was talking about people who were being exposed for like making missing kid videos and true crime videos just for the attention and to look good. And I remember I had commented on one of those videos talking about how this is what a lot of people are doing because it happened to me. But then she shared this, and no, I'm not trying to like blame anybody for anything or act like she even knows about the situation or even act like she shouldn't share this. Well, no, because my views on that are kind of different, which I've said before, is that people don't really, well, not people don't really, they don't care about teens and kids and stuff who are escaping abuse situations or even are escaping trafficking situations. They just share these missing kid uh, posts and stuff. And I think I maybe even said something like that under one of her posts, but I'm not sure if that was her or someone else. And either her or whoever it was just responded and said, whenever a minor is away from home, they're missing. And honestly, that's bull crap. That's bull crap for a lot of different reasons. For one, commonly the parents know where the kids are, but they just don't want to go. Oh, dang. I forgot about the screen timeout settings. And what did I last say? I know I said the whole parent. Yeah, the parent sometimes knows where the kid is, but they don't want to go get them themselves because they want to like get a whole bunch of media attention for pity and a smear campaign the kid. Other times they did something to the kid, and then there's even the times where some relative took the kid, like a dad trying to see their kid, or the grandparents didn't like something that the parents were doing and they took the kid to make the parents mad or to try to save the grandkids, stuff like that. And of course, I'm definitely not the person that like trafficking doesn't happen. As somebody that's actually in the reality of what can actually go on in trafficking, because most people that run around talking about trafficking, especially on channels like this, like Arctic Fox, well, he doesn't even talk about that, I don't think. But they don't really know the reality of it. And also, even while not accepting that SR sex trafficking actually is all of what it is, and they'll just try to act like it's just about prostitution, they'll still talk about it a lot. And also act like there aren't other types of trafficking that people are used for. But anyway, to get to the point, if anybody even sees this, and you've been here since I had the whole abuse evidence channels thing going on in my previous situation before I escaped, Arctic Fox True Crime was one of the two people that my relatives had got to help smear campaign me. And I didn't even know that it was happening. Other people that I knew and people from support groups started coming to me telling me that there were people making videos about me on YouTube and pushing the false narrative that my relatives were telling them. And I do believe Arctic Fox True Crime gets paid to do this by some abusers. And the other dude, which I'm gonna go to whatever I have left of the video to see if I can even remember who it was that made the second video. I was able to get them to delete the YouTube videos, but they still have stuff about me up on other social medias that they try to pretend that they didn't have, like BitChute or Rumble or something like that, which I think you have to pay to even watch the videos on there, but I'm not sure. But yeah, they tried to act like they were going to delete all of it, but they didn't. One or both of the videos, I remember some girl who knew my situation had got under the videos in the comment section and was like, none of these labels are true. She's in a Munchausen abuse situation and a whole bunch of other stuff. I didn't give her permission to say any of that, and yeah, so it's just really risky for her to do that. And I actually recently found out that she's still around and doing okay because she was in her own situation, but she luckily was able to just stay in her family system and is trying to tough it out. So that's an update on her. And this was really recent when I talked to her too. Because I had been pretty worried over the years, to be honest. But anyway, this is one of the dudes who helped my relatives exploit me and lie about me. And of course he didn't care. Him and the other dude, which I think no. I was about to say what I think the channel name was, but actually I'm about to be wrong. But yeah, him and the other dude, they were very mad at me for confronting them about exploiting me. And they got mad at other people too. It was a fight to get them to remove the videos. And of course, it was a fight to try to get them to remove the post because them and the other people, which honestly I think the other people, I think those accounts were by these same two people too. But the only thing they would remove was the videos basically. There's still so much bullcrap up about me from Arctic Fox and this other dude and people who possibly may be different people who have refused to take the videos and posts down, even though they claimed they would because the police had updated. Well, okay, wait a minute. What the situation was that one of the missing persons reports was actually completely fake, and I think that's the one that some of these people had started making posts about me in, and that was the one where that was the one where I tried to sneak to a job interview, and then my mom reported me missing, and all the articles were uploaded while I was in the house taking a shower. So there was that whole situation. That was the first Maddie's alert. That was the one that said all the usual racial labels: ADHD, ODD, OCD, a whole bunch of bull crap that I can't even remember. That was that one. And that was May 2022 or something. And I never managed to get these couple of different people to remove any of the smear campaign and bull crap that they put up about me. And I remember I had even messaged the news article, the people that were over that, asking them to remove it, and they said all they were gonna do was update it. And it's like, if you're gonna update it and say that I was quote unquote found, even though I was never missing, why just update it? Dang it. So I was like, or at least I was thinking this. Why update it when you could just remove it? I don't know what it is when people are refusing to move this stuff. It's almost like they keep getting paid or keep getting revenue from it or something. Or they just get a kick out of helping abusers ruin your life and have lies about you on the internet. Like, I still have stuff up. In fact, most of the stuff about me that's up still is from that whole situation where I tried to sneak to the job interview in May 2022. And it's like, what in the world? Like, I remember some of the people, not a lot, just two of them. I would try not to do this because I really don't want my situation to become like some big thing. Which is part of why I made sure to remove the videos after escaping my situation. Because my intent was never for those to get views, obviously, because that would be embarrassing. And I already talked about why I even made the evidence videos in the first place and how that went absolutely nowhere. Because, of course, after some people from support groups and other places reported, well, people had been reporting, but anyway, when CPS finally did come out, they just snitched about the fact that I had 1,950 plus abuse evidence videos and got most deleted. And that caused a whole bunch of chaos, which is one of the reasons I had to leave kind of quickly the second time, but it went so left because I wasn't able to get all my money on my card. And that's when the whole Let Me Help You Lunatic thing happened, which I had videos about. But yeah, anyway, that went nowhere. But one or two of the people who were helping my relatives by spreading these posts around, I remember messaging one of them and I sent them the abuse evidence videos because, of course, I still had and have a lot left that are saved to emails and stuff, but it's kind of pointless now. Well, it is pointless now, but anyway, I sent them, and of course, they just blocked me because people don't really care. People are sharing this stuff because, one, to look good, two, because they're trying to get revenue off of it, like channels like Arctic fox. And the third thing is that they just feel like quote unquote children shouldn't have rights and shouldn't be able to be safe and be happy and healthy. And they feel like you should be forced back into whatever situation, regardless of what, because you're a quote unquote child. And so, yeah, they just blocked me. And they didn't remove the post either. Well, they blocked me from messaging them anyway. And one of the people did block me from like their whole page. But it wasn't one of like these channels like Arctic Fox or the other dude whose name I can't remember. Those were just like two people who shared some of the Maddie's alerts or whatever. And so yeah, he's spreading the situation of this person. And I noticed he also made a video about, well, it was up here. Oh yeah. He also made a video about the lady that the other lady who I first showed, who shared his post. Up here, had made a video about when I first seen one of her videos about people exploiting missing kids and all that. And dang, wait a minute, that's not what I'm trying to do. And I'm like, how are you getting on the internet trying to talk junk about people who are doing the same thing that you're doing? And I'm talking about Arctic Fox, not the other lady who shared his post. How in the world are you going to get on here talking about Bullhorn Betty when you did what Bullhorn Betty did to some other people, some of the stuff to me? And there was never any remorse, because when I inboxed him being Arctic Fox, and the other dude whose channel I'm about to look for, all they did was cursing me out and tell me that they were going to report me. And yeah. Then there's this other person on Reddit. I never got them to remove the post. I definitely still have screenshots of when I had said something to them about them exploiting me and spreading stuff that wasn't even true. And it was a whole old bullcrap situation, because like I said, a lot of the stuff that was and is being spread was about the whole job interview situation. And then the person off Reddit had responded to me, and they were like, exploiting people or exploiting you or something like that, with a whole bunch of question marks after it. And yes, exploiting me. And then they started cursing me out and telling me that it really didn't even matter, and why do I even care so much so many months later on down the line, because I had actually reached out to that person different times through different accounts I was on, because I got off Reddit sometimes. But yeah, they just did all that bullcrap, and they even pretended that they were going to delete the Reddit post about me. But they didn't delete it, they just blocked me. And then somebody else told me a year later. I was going to say that somebody told me a year later that it was still up, but honestly, I think what it was that I reached out to this person multiple times since 2022. And then in October 2023, I reached out to them again because I had got on Reddit again. And they still wouldn't remove any of the stuff. And they had said the bullcrap lies that they had been telling me again. And then that's when someone I know told me that there were still posts about me on Reddit. And before the last time I reached out to this person, I think around October of last year, I had reached out to them the last time, like a while before. And that was the whole situation where they had blocked me and told me that they were going to delete the post, but they just blocked me so I couldn't see it anymore. So yeah. And then I want to edit this in too. If these people really cared, they would fight for there to be a system put in place to where kicked out and abuse escapees and the people in foster care don't have to be homeless, sleeping under bridges and stuff with groups of 13-year-olds, which I mentioned in another video where I have articles about how foster care, especially in New York, is known for having 13-year-olds living under bridges. These people actually care about any of that stuff and the quote-unquote missing kids. They'd fight for there to actually be places for these kids to go. And another thing to keep in mind is that when somebody's actually being SRA sex trafficked, you're never going to hear about them. So just know that. And then when they do come out and talk about what happened to them, they just get labeled off as schizophrenic by everybody because nobody actually really cares. Not nobody, but obviously not the people making these types of videos about people like me. And that's the thing. If this person really actually cared and they just felt like maybe I was somebody who kidnapped me or something, or well, they felt like I was someone else. Okay, no, now I'm about to start over explaining. But if they really just felt like maybe I was somebody who kidnapped me or something and was trying to like lie about the situation, which I didn't tell my business or anything or like say a lie about what was actually going on. I just asked them to remove it. But if they felt like I was lying about something, then why didn't they report that? And that's another thing that just goes to show these people don't give a crap. They're just doing stuff to make themselves feel good about themselves, and then that's it. Because, I mean, let's be honest. If these people really cared about any stuff they talk about, why aren't they looking for these kids? Why aren't they looking for me? Why aren't they going into the White House basement and all that? Because they don't care. And then, of course, some of the people who do kind of care are too scared to do anything because they're not willing to be locked up or anything for doing what's right. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so these people literally had other people coming in the comment section talking about what was actually going on. And then eventually my relatives seen it. And the thing is, either my relatives were going back to check on. Hold up, I'm choking. Either they were going back to check on what they had done in the smear campaign and to see who said what, or Arctic Fox or the other dude, whichever one it was, they told my relatives about what was being said in the comment sections about my abuse situation, the Munchausen by proxy, and all the other things. And so my two enabler sisters started lying about me in the comment section and smear campaigning me more with all types of lies, flipping around the whole situation, even lying about why in the world my mom even had to move in with my sister and trying to blame it on me, like I had something to do with that, which wouldn't even really make sense. But yeah, so they were just like, they being dumb, exploitative YouTube people, they were literally just pushing along my abuse situation and just getting views and probably pocketing off of all the family chaos and dysfunction and off of me being lied on a smear campaign. Edit this out because I don't want names of anybody to be shown anymore for multiple reasons. Because like I said, I really don't want the situation to be a whole thing. But of course, one of my neighbor sisters has said the whole my mom has never abused her and all that stuff. And they're saying I want to lie to the world. They're the ones that had people making YouTube videos about me lying. But I want to lie to the world when all I was trying to do was lay low till 18 and hide and get away from the whole situation. And the thing is, it's really stupid to me. I guess because they knew that I didn't actually want people to know because the whole situation was just so chaotic and embarrassing. And that's why they knew that even though I had thousands of videos of abuse evidence, I wouldn't like put them in the comment section of one of these videos. Because the thing is it was kind of like, to some people it's kind of weird that my relatives were even willing to spend all their time lying on me and getting these YouTubers that exploit people to lie on me, even though I had thousands of videos proving that nothing that they were saying was true. I'm not even gonna go over all that because I just try to like just let the whole bullcrap situation go. And of course, this is also what happens when you have generational curses and the family system, narcissistic family system, with the Leviathan spirit and Jezebel spirit running rampant. This is what happens. And then people pleasing spirits too, and people bondage spirits, because that's what an enabler would have, just like a codependent. That's what somebody who's an enabler or a flying monkey would have, or especially an enabler. Flying monkeys just go along with the abusers, even though they get nothing out of it. But enablers are usually relatives and stuff who have been abused by the narc before. But anyway, one person said for the thumbnail of one of the videos I used to have up public anyway, during the whole situation where I was being smear campaigned, they were like, I watch your YouTube videos, and why, he can't type, but why is it so important that they say that you have a whole bunch of mental health issues. It's crazy how they can just label you that way, and then it's like a catch-all for you're the problem and everything's your fault. And I remember this dude had went on to say in this message, he was like, and if a kid really did have 14 plus mental problems, then that should point back at the relatives anyway. Because how in the world do you get 14 plus mental problems, which it was actually over 20 labels, to be honest. It was 20 plus labels. I think I should add this in. Another thing with the whole label stuff is that the more people started telling my relatives and telling me that they didn't believe anything my mom was saying or anything that my relatives were saying, eventually my mom and enabler sister just started saying the diagnoses were my fault because I faked being retarded. So the more they got called, well, my sister honestly had nothing to do with it. She just wanted to throw herself into being an enabler. She wasn't even around during the whole diagnosis thing. In fact, she was probably still a teenager or something. But anyway, point is, the more people started calling my mom out, the more the narrative switched. And then around the time of the whole CPS defects chaos thing, I had videos of it, and they just said the diagnosis are her fault because she faked being retarded. And they were like, you fake being retarded, but you talk like an intellectual in the YouTube videos. That honestly, I took that as like a weird compliment because I thought that I did terrible in the YouTube videos and I sounded bad. But yeah, that I can't even remember. But those were the videos I used to have up about how my relatives were smear campaigning me all over the internet and how they were threatening everybody that they thought was helping me, and even some people who were advocating for me that I had met through support groups that even worked for certain organizations or had worked for organizations but were retired, that were like tied into foster care and stuff like that. And I'll go back over this video. Honestly, I should have made a video of me reading this. I don't know why I never did, but I probably will soon. I agree with some of the stuff they said. So this is from a long time ago, from when I had actually just got told that my relatives had people making YouTube videos about me, because I didn't even know. And that's how I learned that when you're escaping an abuse situation, look up your name all the time. Look up your name every couple of days or like twice a week or something to see what all is being put out about you. And actually, funny thing is, the last go round of me trying to escape my abuse situation, the police didn't want to make any articles about me, so they didn't do it till like a month later. And I kept checking, but I didn't see anything, so I thought I was good and I was trying to get a job. But apparently there was an article out about me. It hadn't been out for a long time by the time I found out, only like a couple of days. But the police had spelled my name wrong, and that's why I couldn't find the article. It was honestly really funny. They spelled my name wrong because they really didn't care. So this person was like, dang, I'm trying to make sure my phone doesn't turn off, so I'm going to keep tapping the screen. But they were like, dang, kid, you are the family scapegoat, and you have no rights, so you're very screwed. I was also a scapegoat. I wish I had wisdom that could save you. Don't trust drinks if they say you were crazy. You were traumatized. I spent a lot of years allowing others to tell me that I was unreliable and crazy. But I went to college, I got married, owned a home, became a parent. I've been married 12 years now. What have I learned? Everyone will try to blame you. Do not allow them to give you electroshock therapy. Beware of any group that requires you to create a new identity on day one, like born again or addict. Oh wait, I already read that. It's all a cult and not based on actual science or evidence. No, I'm not into that whole science bullcrap, but the studies that support 12-step are intentionally misleading to make it seem like they have good outcomes. They do not have good outcomes. Harm reduction does. I don't agree with any of this right here. Not that I think that people should go to jail, but I don't agree with people coming out of handing drugs and needles to people. But to skip some of that, the government lies about wanting to help people. They do not. They know all of this stuff is harmful, but it gives them power, and power is what everything is actually about. Power and control. Google coercion and learn about it so you can identify when you're being tricked or abused. CIA interrogation techniques or torture techniques so you can point it out. Like being left in a place where it's brightly lit so you can't sleep, which I went through sleep deprivation abuse before, from age 8 to kind of before I left pretty much. That's abuse. Being not allowed to know the time, day or night, is abuse. Learn about your rights and about laws. I escaped from an abusive situation in 2020 by writing a note to the owner with the detailed list of all the ADA Americans with Disabilities Act violations on their campus. Also, many OSHA workplace violations. I actually recently started studying that since I've been in school for construction and energy management. Anyway, I studied that stuff to make myself more powerful, and I was. Boom. Freed the next day, medical discharge. Instead of the 65K, yes, 65,000 penalty fee, they were trying to charge me for wanting to leave against medical advice due to the abuse. Everyone is lying to you to cover their own butts. You are not at fault for this BS. Freak, have I learned anything useful at all? You were being targeted. Google the quote-unquote school to prison pipeline. I'm still trying to fight how much gaslighting I faced when I was a scapegoat. I was blamed for speaking up about the sexual. I put the re-upload of this in the description, by the way, because I have re-uploaded this video, but not the other ones. And the other ones are pretty much just me panicking and trying to figure out a plan last minute while sounding like I'm about to cry, which I kind of sounded like that in all the evidence videos I used to have. But that's pretty much all they were, because I was I was really worried about the smear campaigning and all that. I actually was trying to look for an advocate, which is how I found this dude on social media who I thought was like, well, I found out that you can actually get yourself a child advocate, but I thought but he was just like a dude who made videos about the truth of family court and all that. But I'll put one of his videos in the description though. He has good videos. Anyway, sexual violence I was being subjected to. No one believed me, or else they said I was a sinner because I was not a virgin. The world is screwed up. My brother was stuck in special ed. My mom taught it for 30 years. It's a garbage can for kids who are traumatized. I studied. Oh yeah, this was because. Well, okay, wait a minute. She said this because there was a whole situation a little before me leaving. I can't even remember much about it, to be honest, but I was thrown in some racial Jim Crow era placement by my mom that was called a self-confined, and it fall under special ed, and it wasn't for academics. It was a lot of weird stuff with that, but it's kind of a long story. Basically, it has something to do with the Munchausen, and then she was like making the school when I was in actual school, she was like threatening them and threatening to sue them or something like that because they wouldn't do what she wanted them to do for the Munchausen. And so they were like, we're just going to let her do whatever she wants to do. And then I ended up in this racist Jim Crow placement with 3 abusive staff that had a whole bunch of unhealed trauma. And I talk about this one lady all the time. There was this one staff member in there. I called her Miss B in the evidence videos because I didn't want to say her real name for obvious reasons. I actually had a couple videos of their abuse, but anyway. She would be like, I'm sick of this church, I'm sick of it, whenever she got mad at us. Because she had a lot of like Southern Baptist, white supremacist flip around of the original faith of the Yashar trauma. Well, that's a long title that I give it anyway. But basically this churchianity flip around bullcrap. She had church trauma, to make a long story short. And so whenever she would get mad at me and the other kids that were in there, she'd be like, I'm sick of this church, I'm sick of it. And then she'd say, this one time, she was like, there's only 3 pastors in this church and you don't question the pastor. I'm like, what church did she go to? I've never heard that before. But Anywho, let me keep reading. So, I studied 3 majors in college: social work, communication disorders, and then criminal justice. I wanted to figure out why. Why the freak was everyone blaming me and trying to destroy my life? All because I was trying to survive and not get raped? I don't even know if I could say that on here. Not be starved, not be deprived of sleep, get to see a doctor. Freak, how do I help you? What has helped me? I think learning it was all lies. The church lied to me. Okay, wait a minute, because my throat's kind of hurting. Psychiatry electroshocked me at 19 for being suicidal after many brutal rapes. No one offered me any counseling, just straight to ECT. I have been maliciously misdiagnosed by doctors, so they couldn't get sued for horrific mistreatment. You're not dramatic, you're not a liar, you're not trying to get attention. No one wants to help you because helping someone is hard. Everyone is betraying you because they don't actually love you. Bell Hooks said it best, that love cannot exist with abuse. No one loves you. I mean, it was true though, but I mean, at least not the people around me anyway. No one loves you, no one loved me either. And, this is becoming really long. I was able to find loving friends along the way. Many bullies and rapists too, though. And I guess that's the thing with the spiritual side is that, like, after you, like, go through the ritual of SA, you commonly already had marine spirits through, like, generational stuff, or you get them after the SA. And then the marine spirits, like, draw more people to you that will sexually assault you. So there's that. That's really common. Not to mention that the trauma just makes you not really know what love is. And so then you just throw yourself into different situations. Luckily that hasn't happened to me though, but I did have many abusive friends back when I used to call myself having friends. But let me not get into that. And I had to be a sex worker for a while to get my high school diploma. I was a sugar baby, but that's not possible for all people. Yeah, I know. I have white privilege, so I had a line out the door of men who wanted. I don't really know what that has to do with white privilege. That's not what white privilege means. I picked a kind man who agreed to drive me to school every morning. This is a really common thing for abused boys and girls, but I'm not going to get into that because I talk about that in so many videos. If I lived as his exclusive girlfriend, then I just had to figure out how to get back to his house after school. No one does favors for free. So my friend who was giving me rides back to my sugar daddy's house eventually raped me as a punishment for quote unquote taking advantage of him by this is why I'm not into that friend stuff. Definitely not out of desperation. Anytime when you're desperate or when you seem vulnerable to people, it's not even that. It's the people that you attract when you're vulnerable and desperate. I'll say that. But I'm about to go off on a rant, so let me not. Uh, he said I owed him for his generosity. The scapegoat. Outcomes are bad for. Oops. Dang, hold up. I accidentally have switched to another video. The scapegoat. Outcomes are bad for us. People believe the smear campaigns and those beliefs last years. Well, the good thing for me, though, is that I don't know anybody. And honestly, nobody's ever really known me, but I'm not about to get into that. I don't know anybody. I was only in Georgia for like a year or two, and I was only in school for like a few months, if even 5. So nobody knew me, and it's like, honestly, if somebody was to go back to the people who did go to school with me for the little bit of time I was in school, and they were to like show them a picture of me and be like, do you know who this is? Everybody would definitely say no. Had to make sure this is even recording. But I'm clicking the wrong thing. Okay. And also another thing is that people were coming to me saying that they knew none of it was true, so it's whatever. Oh, my voice is cracking. I'm a middle-aged woman, but my aunt and dad burned every bridge in my life. You will not be saved by a preacher or a doctor. They said that part. Well, okay, so let me go into this a little bit, and then I'm gonna put the videos in the description. But what was it? Oh yeah, in the Let Me Help You Lunatic video, I go over the whole thing with the quote-unquote preacher. He wasn't actually a preacher anyway, but I mean, the hijacking of the original Faith of the Yashara just caused a whole bunch of chaos and churchianity bullcrap anyway, so it's kind of whatever. And the churchianity is really messed up, to be honest. But he was an actual preacher. And I talk about who he was in the Let Me Help You Lunatic videos. It was just a situation that I was cornered into. And I think this might be it, but maybe not. Oh no. I don't know if anyone will save you. And of course not, I say to myself. Well, I mean, of course, God helped me, but people didn't. So, people, it's just like, it's kind of whatever. And going back to the original point of this video, there's people like Arctic Fox. They're not there to help. They're just there to spread lies around about you. And honestly, yeah, nobody, I really just don't even know what to say about it. No person helped me. Sure, people helped me get through the cognitive dissonance and stuff, and were able to give me advice, and we were able to share stories and all that in support groups. But support groups, especially on Reddit, they get toxic after a while. And then the Facebook ones, Facebook is it's bullcrap. You can barely even get a post up because the mods have to approve it for it to even be posted. So you really can't even get into support groups on Facebook. But there was that, but no person did anything to help me, to be honest. The most people did, which did actually mean a lot, because it helped me break free from the gaslighting, was come to me and tell me that it was really obvious that my parents were lying. And then that's pretty much it. It's pretty much it. I don't even know what else to say about it. Probably sound kind of sad in this video because I am kind of getting flashbacks while reading this. But yeah, so this was just different little things that. Okay, my screen timed out again, so this is going to be the last clip, hopefully, because I'm going to have to do a lot of editing. So, the other channel was called Darkness Exposed. They had a BitChute, Rumble, Instagram too, I think. I haven't seen any posts from them anywhere. I was luckily able to get a TikTok that they had made about me that I had somewhat recently found out about removed. But they weren't even using the TikTok anymore. But I just definitely had to get that removed. And the thing is, people don't even care about how smear campaigning can affect somebody's job or whatever. It's like they pretend that they care so they can get likes and views and look like a good person. But imagine if because jobs do this. People try to act like they won't, but they do. If you have a social media and the jobs don't like it when they find it when they Google your name or whatever, they're not going to hire you. People seem to not care that if a job Googles somebody and they see a missing person post or something with the relatives saying a whole bunch of lies and make the person sound bad and a whole bunch of false labels and a whole bunch of other smear campaigning, that'll make them not want to hire somebody. The thing is, these people really don't give a crap about jack. They just want to smear campaign you and get some likes and views and hopefully get monetized. That's all they care about. Anyway, this is something that somebody said about the videos. I'm just going to show this and this is going to be it because I don't want to have a flood of memories, which I probably will anyway, but yeah, I saw those. Hold up. I'm kind of getting sidetracked because of background noise from neighbors, but yeah, I saw those, man. They do use all the classics. She just wanted to rebel. She only wants to disrespect our mom. Your sister acts like she is the victim. And that's something that a lot of people notice, especially because before the whole CPS thing happened where they snitched about the 2000 abuse evidence videos and got half deleted, there was okay, wait a minute. One of my enabler sisters, the main enabler sister, she had her own YouTube channel where she had a few videos about her abuse. And I remember this person I knew who I may have met in a support group or maybe I met her through the evidence channels or whatever, but she was like, when she first watched some of one of them, she didn't even know that that was my sister. And she was like, with the way that she talks about her abuse, you would have thought she was the only child. And that's the thing. Enablers can sit there and talk about their abuse, but then screw their other siblings. And also still be an enabler to their own abuser. And, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. And it's this funny thing, too, because it's like, you'll notice that the abusive parents who used to give the narcissist whoopings and all that, they hold their abusers in the highest esteem. They'll talk great about their parent who still doesn't like them, who messed them up, and then they'll like go on. Well, I mean, a lot of traumatized people do this, but they'll go on these little quote unquote joking rants about the whoopings and running from the whoopings and all that, as if that stuff didn't turn them into the demonized person that they became. So, yeah. I did think about confronting them with the evidence here, but then they would know about your accounts and try deleting the evidence. Honestly, they already knew about the videos. They were actually watching the videos when I had left. They even watched the evidence channel that I last had throughout this whole situation I've been in this time. And yeah, then they were like, you were out of the state and at a safe place, right? And that was actually kind of funny because I think at that time I had already told them that I was cornered and turned in and locked up and sent back. But I still secretly had the phone. And so this is some of what was going on when a quote-unquote true crime YouTuber was exploiting me. And he knew about it, of course, because like I said, people were telling these people who were making the YouTube videos about me what was going on. But of course they didn't care because they were doing it in hopes of getting money, and they even told me that sometimes they make the videos at the parents' request. So they make the videos at the abuser's request, probably get paid by the abusers too. And then that's pretty much all I had to say about all this.